So what is vision? Vision can be described as foresight, observation, view, revelation, image, and an ability to dream. Let me say that again for you. Vision can be described as foresight, observation, sight, view, revelation, image, and an ability to dream. As a leader, the most important thing you can have is your vision. Not just any vision, but a vision that is clearly written and defined. We're in March, well, we're in April already, you might as well say. I remember Happy New Year, 2013. So as leaders in this industry that you're going to be, I believe you are going to be leaders, what is your vision? And when I say vision, I mean, what is your clear and defined vision for this month, for the next 6 months, for the remainder of 2013? In fact, I challenge you, what's your 5-year vision? You might say, only 5 years, that's a long time. No. Before we know it, it's going to be Happy New Year 2014. So one of the things that's going to distinguish you in this industry is having a clear and defined vision. It's interesting, just before the start, I was just reading about Barclays now. They're going over to Pakistan and they're going over to Egypt to open up more branches. And I was like, wow. So they saw opportunity, and that's a vision. So you guys, you want to be the best in your field. You want to be leaders. You want to be a reference point in the PR game, in the PR industry. One of the things that's going to distinguish you is your vision. There's many speakers out there. There's many keynote speakers. There's many authors. But how comes I'm here now? One of the things that distinguishes me is my vision. Hard work, of course. My excellence, which I'm going to speak about later, but it's vision. Vision has to be the bedrock for you as leaders. Because I don't believe you guys are followers. I believe you guys are leaders. Leaders in your industry, leaders in your office, leaders for your family, leaders for your generation. You know, I was reading about Taylor Bennett, and you know, they say, statistics say that people from the ethnic minority allegedly don't have great chances. I don't believe in statistics. If I went through what I went through, and I've got a real past, and I'm here now speaking to corporate bodies, looking to really travel around the world, I broke that mold. But one of the things that distinguished me is my vision. While other keynote speakers, while other speakers were just thinking about, well, let's speak in a little event in Hackney somewhere, or Brixton or nothing, I'm thinking global. I'm thinking generational. So one of the things, as I said, that's going to distinguish you is your vision. A clear and defined vision. Mental vision. How many books do you guys want to read this month? How many books have you read this year already? It's interesting, it's April already. And a great man once said that readers are leaders. How many books have you set apart to say, you know what, I want to read this month, I want to read this, how many books I want to read? How many journals? Another quote is, being current is the currency of life. How up to date are you in your industry? What's going on? What's the latest trends? What's the latest things going on? Vision is powerful. What makes a leader is you live in your vision. Not my vision, not the person next door to you, not the person in another office, but your own clear and defined vision. That's one of the things that's going to distinguish you in 2013. Having a clear and defined vision for your life. Financial vision. Is it when you get paid? Is it when you get money, you go straight to Zara and straight to H&M and what other shops are there? Harrods. Don't get me wrong, it's good to get your swagger on. As you can see, my swagger's on point. But this way you guys laughing fine again. There's more to life than swagger. If it was all about swagger, we'd be top 10, we'd be top 5. So have a clear, defined vision, financial vision. How much do you plan to save every month? And you might say, Onyi, I might save £1. That's a vision. Or I might save £1,000, £10,000. Have a clear, defined vision, physical vision. It's not necessarily you have to drive everywhere or get on a bus everywhere. Why don't you walk? Some of the greatest people that we look up to, you'd be surprised. Richard Branson, you'd be surprised how fit they are. The guy does a lot of walking, that's a vision. Financial vision, mental vision, networking vision. As I said, this industry that you guys are in is so competitive. In fact, it's too competitive, but one of the things that's going to distinguish you in your environment is your clear and defined vision. It's interesting, there was a story of a young man, Jack Cohen his name was, in the early 1900s, he used to sell fruit and veg in Hackney, interesting enough where I was born and raised. And legend goes that every morning, he had short legs, so he had to, instead of running to the pitch, he used to throw his hat and then reserve his spot. About 5 years later, he thought of his name. About 8 years after that, he branded his company, and his company is called Tesco. Raise up your hand if you've been in a Tesco before. That's the power of vision. And as far as I'm concerned, the guy had one head, 2 arms, and 2 legs. So one of the things that's going to distinguish you, and I believe make you a reference point to your generation, Because you guys are meant to be called to be a reference point. So when people from our community or from our generation say, oh, there's no one that we can look up to, there's no one that's been where we've been through, they can use you as a reference point. They can use my brother here as a reference point. Have a clear and defined vision for your life. Vision is so powerful. A few years ago, we saw the London riots, in fact, the UK riots of the young people. It's not the lack of money or opportunity, but rather it's the lack of vision and purpose. So as I said, one of the things that's going to distinguish you is having a clear and defined vision for your life. Vision is so important. Can you imagine going to a wedding and a bride and bridegroom, they're looking beautiful, they're looking handsome, and then the cameraman's taking a picture, but he's handshaking. What's going to happen to the picture? It's going to be very blurry. And sometimes, if some of us have got blurry visions, well, whatever happens, happens. But when whatever happens, you'll be complaining, thinking, why did this happen? So have a clear, defined vision for your life. Mental vision, financial vision, networking vision. Have a vision that even if you're blindfolded, even if you ever get kidnapped, which you never will, and they blindfold you, you can still see the vision. Your vision, as I said, is one of the things that will distinguish you in 2013 and beyond. This is a competitive environment, you guys, very competitive, whether you like it or not. And one of the things, the trailblazers and the pioneers that we look up to or we admire, I guarantee you, one of the things they had was a clear and defined vision. Your vision is what will distinguish you and make you the leader of excellence you were born to be. So in turn, you can fulfill your destiny. I believe you're here for a reason. Me and PR doesn't mean anything. When it comes to computing, I haven't got a clue. When it comes to electrical engineering, I haven't got a clue. But when it comes to personal development, when it comes to writing, speaking, empowering people, that's my passion. That's my calling. And I believe I'm one of the best. I was thinking this morning on my way here, I think I'm one of the best speakers in the world. It's not arrogance, but I've made up my mind that I'm going to do such things with such generation involved, such global thinking. We're living in a global environment. Just don't think Oxford Circus. Just don't think London. Think New York. Think Paris. Think Tokyo. Think Africa. Vision. The second book I wrote is 200 quotes. It's called The Doorway to Distinction. 200 quotes, 25 on excellence, 25 on vision. And one of the things I wrote about vision is the one thing I've learned about vision is that some people will grab it mentally, while others will have a crab mentality.